Join ELC at Dear Visionaries, the Catalyst cohort of 2026 are officially open for applications. Join now.
Hello to every of our amazing leaders, executives, founders, professionals joining us at today's Clarity Call with DDK. I am your amiable host, DTV, and I'm joining you all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. I would love to read from you. Where are you joining us from around the world? If you're joining us from across Africa, we greet you, we salute you. If you're joining us across French countries, we say bonsoir. It could be bonjour in your case because of the time zone, but nonetheless, you understand our greeting. Well, thank you for joining us this evening. All right, I can see the messages pulling through. Wow, we have a beautiful array of change makers, leaders, founders, executives from around the globe. I can see Malawi represented. I can see UK represented. I can see Texas, USA represented. I can see Nigeria, Ibadan. Brazil, Sao Paulo, Brazil represented. I can see Ghana represented, our brother, just from another mother next door. I also can see South Africa represented. Oh, thank you. I can see Visionary Namvula. We salute you, Visionary Namvula. She was one making that sound in the video. All right. We see Kenya represented. We see River State, Ghana. Sorry, River State, Nigeria. Delta State, Asaba. Lagos, Nigeria represented. All right. Keep it coming through. France is also represented. So I was correct. So I started with bonjour, bonsoir. Canada is also represented. I love it. Keep this coming to Tanzania is represented. Okay, I want to be sure that I'm not missing out any country. Okay, UK is represented, London, Excess, Salisbury. Now let me see. Austin is represented, Australia is represented, Uganda is represented, and many more from Nigeria. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Keep the introductions coming through. Let us know where you're joining us from. We're excited to welcome you to VCAP-X Clarity Call with DDK. And today's buffet has been well curated. We have a coaching session with DDK in this holistic session, as well as an alumni conversation with past leaders, past visionaries from the past cohorts. Remember, the incoming cohort is known as the Catalyst cohort. If you would love to be a part of the Catalyst cohort, in the coming minutes, we will share in full details how you can be a part of this. Excitedly, we have admissions still opening up as well as enrollments. So just know that you're not missing out on anything. In the course of this evening or today, we would share further details with you and you would know how to plug in. But ahead of that, I want you to share with us your expectations for tonight. Not just your expectations. I also want to ask a priming question that sets the tone for tonight's conversation. And it's really around what vision, project, business, or assignment, as I would, in a way, as I would describe it, refuses to leave you alone. What's that vision that is just a huge burden on your heart? And you know that VCAP-X is the incubating machine, incubating ecosystem, incubating engine room to bring this to life. So share with us in the chat box. We would love to read from you. And let me see, just maybe I may be able to take one or two persons who would be willing to share with us. Of course, you'd have to use the raise hand button, but would love to hear from you. But type it up. Don't overthink it, right? There's a vision burning in your heart. There's a project you've had, had wired, had cord into your being, and you're just looking for the right ecosystem to bring this to life. VCAP-X is that engine room, is that execution-driven coaching engine room to bring this to life. Okay, Indideka Ezioyika, sorry if I'm murdering your name, pardon me. I joined to understand what VCAP-X is all about. You're right in the room. You are in the right room. And definitely at the end of this call, you will have greater clarity and direction on the next key steps to take in regards to VCAP-X. All right, let's read from you. Also answer my question. What is that burning vision project that is just according to you, that refuses to leave you? All right, Iyonoluwa says, prayer journal for parents. I love it, right? Let's keep that coming through. And if you would love to speak, you can use the raise hand button and I would have you mute. I can at least take 1 or 2 persons. But whilst that is happening, put up your thoughts in the chat box and I will excitedly read from you. So I love it. So while we are still meditating on this question, I also want to pose another reflective question, which speaks to what has been the biggest obstacle preventing your intentional and consistent execution. When you sort of assess your years of saying, I will start, I will start, I will start. What has been the biggest obstacle preventing consistent and intentional execution? All right, let me read more thoughts coming through in the chat box at the moment. All right, so I can see, okay, so we have a response from Fikaya. Okay, let me start from Omalola Onipade. She says, gender equality for women, especially in Africa. I love it. Fikaya says the vision to be the solid voice in identity formation for children, youth, and young adult that translates to raising holistic and well-functional adults for the society we desire. Oh, powerful. AI, VC says AI physical execution mastermind. Oh, this needs a lot of unpacking, but I love it already. Temitope says, I joined to birth the help burden I have for the wounded, traumatized, and mentally unstable. Wow, this is really profound. Thank you for sharing. VC says, okay, money. All right, all right. Yes, yes, yes. We want to make money. I love it. Nazbula Nagimi says, feelings of overwhelm. Okay, you're speaking to my second question. What has been the biggest obstacle? So BC says money. Nazbula says feelings of overwhelm, okay, that has prevented you from, consistently executing. Iyobosa says clarity of what to do and finances, okay? Precious Adejomobi says funding. Oluwatosin says, now, in answering my first question, she says, to be a game changer in my nursing globally. I love it. Tolokwe Dada says, to see pregnant moms carry their seeds with grace and nature, and nurture their children in the ways of the Lord, also in the ways of the Lord while they are still young. Powerful. Love it so much, okay? Let me take in more, all right? In terms of the obstacles, biggest obstacle, Buluwata first says procrastination, feeling tired and overwhelmed. Lavetta says in answering the first question, Lavetta says designing sustainable capital solutions for African SMEs. Powerful. We're rooting for you, Lavetta, and we're encouraging you to plug into VCAP-X if you have not applied just yet. Vikayo says, and to everyone who has shared, is the same charge I'm making to you. Vikayo says, the vision to be, okay, I've read that. All right, let me take in more. Olubukola Onifele says, my life's work is about creating the environment, tools, and conversations that help people, children, and adults push out their gift, calling, story, capacity that the world needs. I love it. Bula says the vision to help addicts come out of addiction, especially drug addicts. I love it. Aderayo says support ministry for grieving women who had stillbirth, loss of a baby, or miscarriage. This is powerful. Okay, Rosalinda says the Barnabas Project and advocacy to empower and educate survivors of domestic violence, giving hope and healing to survivors and their family. This is truly powerful. Wow. And Jola really wrote a thesis right here. She says the unshackled community, where we have honest conversations, real stories, healing growth, the kind of vulnerability most of us have been too afraid to step into alone. No pressure to pretend, no pressure to have it all figured out, just real people, real conversations, room to breathe, especially for those with sexual struggles, addictions, emotional and mental struggles, helping them heal and giving safe space where they don't have to feel like they're too far gone. Oh, powerful. Tessimi says to understand how to build tools for the rewiring of the minds for fashion designers to do fashion the kingdom way. Wow, we are rooting for you. Powerful visions have been shared, and we're just saying yes. Okay, let me take on Shaya. Shaya says, give me a minute. Shaya says, I hope to use ELC to strengthen my leadership capacity and gain the mentorship and strategic support needed to launch the Equip Challenge, a leadership and innovation program that equips secondary school students in the border communities of Ogun West with critical thinking, public speaking, problem solving, entrepreneurship, and leadership skills to expand their opportunities and future aspirations. We're rooting for you, Shaya. Tapiwa Wanyika says, what keeps me awake at night is seeing people settle for survival when they were created to live whole, free, and fully aligned with their God given purpose. I want to help people navigate life's transitions, embrace transformational wholeness, and step confidently into the work they have been called to do across the nations of the earth. Okay, we have another entry from F4 Owusu Atewi. I know she's Ghanaian. To mentor and disciple teen girls to become who God created them to be so they don't spend decades of adulthood recovering and healing from adolescence. My vision is to, let me read that, is to Okay, my vision is to see teen girls step into adulthood rooted in God, secure in their identity, confident in who they are, and equipped to flourish. We're rooting for you, F4, and we want to see you on board VCAP-X. And to everyone who has shared their beautiful and very powerful visions. Benedicta says, Apuama says, to provide eco-friendly menstrual hygiene kits for women in Africa, starting with Nigeria, in order to reduce plastic pollution, optimize resource management from the life cycle of conventional period products. Powerful. Judith Courage says, my vision for the Boy Child NGO I run is to raise a generation of innovative, value-driven boys and young men who are confident in identity, equipped with relevant skills, and prepared to influence their communities and the world positively. We're rooting for you, Judith. Deborah Mangai says, to help young people discover their identity early, build a healthy self-esteem, and achieve all their pursuits with God at the center. Adebimpe says to build a transformational movement that raises leaders, restores lives, and advances God's kingdom by helping people discover, develop, and deploy their God given potential through education, leadership, mentorship, and the gospel of Jesus Christ. Powerful. Wow. this has been truly inspiring. And I really love that you have that burden well crafted, right? That you can properly, voice print that vision. Now, what this clarity call will do for you is to then show you how VCAP-X is the next level execution driven coaching engine for you to unravel, right? To unravel, execute, implement, and also grow in impact and authority. So, therefore, just keep your fingers crossed. Get your either is it hot mug of tea or a lovely jug of water or juice, right? Get your journals ready and just get really prepped to soak in, the coaching insights that will come through from our pro coach, as well as the very pragmatic insights from our alumni conversations coming up later on tonight. All right, let me take a contribution from Yana Chor, who says to bridge the gap between advanced, efficacious therapeutics and the continent of Africa, increasing accessibility and improve the quality of life of African patients. This is truly powerful. Thank you for sharing, Iana Chor. Okay, exciting. All right, so I've seen that many entries came through for the very first question. Now, let me touch on my second reflective question, which speaks to what has been the biggest obstacle preventing consistent execution. So if you haven't shared any of your thoughts, please share with us. It could be lack of clarity, lack of strategy, lack of accountability. It could be fear. It could be overwhelm. Share in the chat box. We'd love to read from you. And just as you are answering the second reflective question, I want you to also answer the third and final reflective question, which speaks to if everything worked exactly as you hope over the next, let's say, 24 weeks, if you come on board VCAP-X, what will be different, right? And you can, if you would love to share, you can journal this down, or you can also just share, you can journal this down or share in the chat box if you love to share. Okay, so Chinaza says overwhelmed with knowledge. Josh Summer says overwhelmed in finances. Mustafa says lack of consistency. Oluwatosa says lack of self-development to create and take up opportunities. Tulakpa says lack of strategy and feelings of overwhelm. Rosalinda says insufficiency of execution planning strategies. Don't worry. That's why VCAP-X is here for you. All right, excited. All right, so thank you all for sharing. No worries. We're getting into the sweetest part of today's convening. We have already in the studio our pro coach, our mentor, the lead visionary and founder of VCAP, of the Visionary Compass Accelerator Program, or Visionary Compass, and also the lead visionary and lead coach of VCAP-X. I want to see the emojis, the excitement in the chat box as I pass the button to the media. And the next space you see on the screen is the face of our pro coach. So over to you, media. Thank you.
Debola Deji-Kurunmi is a polymath, best-selling author, keynote speaker, public policy advisor, corporate trainer, and transformational coach for visionary leaders. Through her work of coaching, consulting, and capacity building, Debola deploys her extraordinary gift of unlocking potential in people, institutions, and nations. She is the founder of Immerse Coaching Company, a professional coaching practice, Executive Director at Ideation Hub Africa, a public policy and impact advisory firm, President at Kingdom Leaders Global Alliance, founder of the Future Forward Female Movement, and Visionary Compass, a coaching practice serving Africa's 1% emerging and established visionaries. Across these organizations, she leads a vibrant 100,000 plus community of change makers across the world. Debola is a certified visionary leadership coach by the Oleg Konovalov Global Coaching Certification, a Gallup certified strength coach, a certified masteries practitioner by the International Association of Coaching, USA, and renowned for her archetypical coaching frameworks as well as original assessments. A highly sought-after corporate trainer for multinational corporations, SMEs, development agencies, and governments, Debola has delivered executive coaching, team building retreats, and senior leadership training for organizations including the World Bank, Philips Consulting, Lagos State Government, NLNG, SAMI, Boando Foundation, Champs PLC, Pernod Ricard, Seplat Energy, Accela, VFD Bridge, Ventures Garden Group, FSDH, Vetiva Capital, Luminate Africa of Omidyar Network, amongst others. Debola has been severally recognized for her outstanding leadership impact with her transformational work featured on TV, international news, and media. She has received several awards including the 2014 New Leader for Tomorrow of the Crans-Montana Forum, Geneva, 2018 Mandela Washington Fellow by U.S. Government, one of 100 Most Inspiring Nigerian Women 2019, Nigeria's Leading Coach in 2021, 50 Most Inspiring Women in 2022, Nigeria's 50 Most Inspiring Authors 2023, ABCD Africa's 50 Most Impactful Voices 2023, Peak Performing Woman of the Year 2023, Mentor of the Year 2023, and Top 5 Nigerian Women Empowering Women 2024, NBC Washington's 35 Global Women Thought Leaders Driving Social Change 2024, and a 2024 Success Women of Influence finalist, one of 50 women who changed our world, released 2025, amongst others. DDK, as she is fondly called, is an author of 30 books to date and has spoken across 3 continents to emerging and established leaders. Over the last decade, she has worked with corporate leaders, C-suite executives, ministry gifts, high-growth visionaries, and purpose-driven individuals, serious about building institutions, amplifying influence, and scaling impact without compromising their integrity and faith. She is masterful at high-tier coaching for crafting go-to-market strategy, rapid execution techniques, visionary launch and mastery, personal reinvention, ministry growth, and wealth expansion. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Debola Deji-Kurunmi.
Hello, hello. How are you? Let me just check my audio to know that I'm giving my best sound output today. How is it looking on your side? Please let me know. Is it good? Good? Can you hear me, Claire? Okay, let me pull out my my chats. Okay, fantastic. Welcome to each of you. And what a great night we've already had. DTB, thank you. You just always set such a beautiful tone. You know, the kind of energy you bring into our rooms is just very compelling and very well received. We love you. We thank you. And we also commend the coaching partnership that we have with you as one of our certified super coaches at Visionary Compass Accelerator. And thank you to all the stunning leaders, founders, visionaries, functionaries, solutionaries who are on this call today. I am definitely, truly pleased to share moments with you. And I hope that you are already gearing forward into the second half of this year. I was sharing with our community how the month of June is a month of reset. By the way, the year is a year of rest, reset, and restart. And we are just intentionally stewarding that wind regarding the year. I started the year using a different model than I have previously. I broke my year into quadrimesters so that I had 4 months as a particular strip, a 4-month execution strip. And that will be 3 months high execution and 1 month recovery. And that was the design that I had for my year by revelation, but I don't know how it's looking. In the first quadrimester, I had January, February, March, high execution. And then I got back home from my global trips, and I took April off. It was also my birth month. I was just chilling. I loved it. I said, look, we can do this thing. Go 90 days hard, then just take the next month to step back a bit, and gel for the new quadrimester. And so we got into May, and I was like, look, this is just the design, beloved. Actually, July is not done, but I'm just done. I'm telling you, July is just 11th, and I've just been saying to my husband, I need a sabbatical. I need a sabbatical, and it's just very interesting because the design of life on the visionary lane requires agility, but it also requires flexibility. In fact, the whole concept of vision is revelation. And the whole concept of revelation is often a call to reinvention, that there's something about how you're looking at your life and at your seasons that must not be drawn just from the data, of all about yourself and about life. It's also got to be pulled from a realm of light that allows you make your vision a tool of correction and calibration. And my most favorite book in the world has a particular stream of light concerning vision that is very popular. And it was talking about how a person has to set their vision before themselves and how they have to write it and document it. And those who are able to read what they write will be able to run with it. But the most profound part of that stream of light is not merely in the way we think about it and use it around being able to see and seize a compelling future and then build a system around it. But it's also that the preceding stream regarding that particular conversation started off with the visionary himself saying, I'm going to set myself apart so that I can receive, a revelation, and I have to listen for how I will be corrected and what answer I can give. Guess what? This visionary was leaning in to hear a correction. And then when his super coach was responding to him, he said, write the vision. Here is what the line I'm trying to draw. Vision is a tool of correction. And it's not correction in the way we think about it, i.e. you've done something wrong. It's correction from the lens of calibration. It is through vision that you are able to align the parts of your life that are misaligned. It's through vision that you're able to correct, yourself. It's through vision that you're able to say, this is how I am meant to live, So yeah, the visionary life requires agility, but it also requires flexibility, meaning that, your season can call you into a design that is mildly or even significantly different from the one that you framed, So I'm saying all of that to say, I don't know if this quadrimester is quadrimestering, though I started the year and I sold it to my, my friends, my inner circle, like that's the design. It was just like an architectural framework. But by July, I think I've already done what some people may not do in 2 years already. And I want to go home, I just returned from a really impactful trip to the US and the UK. And 2 days before returning from the UK, someone had reached out to me. There was this opportunity to meet with, a few leaders in parliament and, as a policy leader. And I started to make a joke to her. I said, who is a policy leader? When did I discuss with you that I'm a policy leader? And she was like, no, DDK, be serious. I said, policy leader? I'm not in I'm not in the mental frame of a policy leader. Leave me out of it. And I didn't go. I didn't have it in me to go. I just wanted to sleep in the hotel that day. And that's exactly what I did. Don't do this without caution. Or sometimes you may feel tired, but you should still take an opportunity. That's not what I'm saying. But I just didn't have it in me. What I would try to do for about the next 7 to 10 days is to really, really deliver the outstanding, requirements I have for my leaders in the spaces where I still need to offer clarity about the work, we're doing, or give feedback on some strategic priorities that are executive level. I am really working hard to close that out. The moment I give those, approvals or documentations, etc., they no go see me. I'm unavailable. It's a game I'm going to play on these people. I'm just going to find my way to just renew my strength and step away a bit from it all for now. So that's how the quadrimester architecture just fell by the wayside. Maybe by the end of August or September, I would have a run again, do September, October, November, naturally take December off. But that's to say that I'm just quite excited to have you here. And thank you for making out time to just, spend moments with us. I'm glad, Moshope, and it was beautiful spending time with you in London, to just take a moment to be in the room with us. In Nigeria, it's 8:37 p.m. WAT, and that is the timing for a number of us who are on this side or who share our time zone. But I know that for some of you, it's afternoon. Whatever timing it looks like for you, we just want to thank you for your sacrifice and your commitment to the experience. I also want to celebrate the 50, I think, visionaries who are already on board VCAP-X 2026, the Catalyst cohort. I want to honor your cadence. I want to celebrate your outstanding performance, moving through into first-class acceptance in a sea of applications. I want to honor the blessedness, the gift, and the compelling opportunity. We are now at 53. What am I even saying? The 53 visionaries who have been accepted into the Catalyst cohort of VCAP-X 2026. Because I understand the rigor of the process. I understand how selective the admission journey is and how tight the juryship is, and how I have no, veto powers whatsoever to, intervene with the decisions. I find myself just in awe of the excellence that it takes to come into the program. And so well done, significant stride already. I'm telling you, if you're in VCAP, you've been in VCAP, or you've gotten into the accelerator, it is a badge of honor. It says something about you. And I feel like it's a well-researched validation. It's not social hype. It's concrete, documented, well-researched validation. The selection process itself is built around, a certain evidential approach in observing the most critical criteria for visionary excellence and execution mastery, which are the twin forces that we believe creates visionary transformation. So we've looked up for your vision. Ruth said, virtue left me after submission. It is true. It is true. It is still open. I have to see that in the chats to confirm. I don't know if applications are still open, but I know enrollments, I don't know, I think enrollments are still open for those who have applied already. But Dr. Newton will confirm that. But the last cohort was called the Powerhouse cohort. And they lived true to that nomenclature in the most stunning ways. I'm telling you that I witnessed a caliber of execution and a speed of growth, a speed of transformation that we were documenting proofs in as short as 90 days. And the impact collateral across industries was so compelling. My mind was blown. It was truly powerhouse on the most remarkable levels. I've been giving the good news. Applications are opened, but only till the 13th of July. That is just 2 days. If you are going, if you are hoping to apply, you will not sleep tonight. You will start from, if it's night on your side, like 2 days. 24 hours. It's 48 hours. It's not impossible, but it will stretch you. Yeah, but it can be done. It can be done. And if you don't mind, just put in the chats who has applied and then get their contact and just ask them a few questions to give you something like that. You know, we found that to be particularly helpful in the last 2 cohorts, people getting support from the alumni. And that, you know, brings me on to, or will naturally take me on to commending the alumni, which I'll do shortly. But I wanted to spend a moment to highlight that we received, as I would actively wait intentionally to receive a name for the cohort, because it's in itself a visioning process. Receiving a name for the cohort sort of just helps me understand what is coming about the caliber of people in the program. And that's exactly what has happened. Somebody is not telling you the truth. Who said it? You have 3 days to apply. Oluwaseyi, it's not 3 days, or it's 2 days. It ends on Monday, the 13th of July. And all enrollments anywhere in the world, in all the universe, ends on the 15th of July. Like after it, I can't even beg the team. Tapiwa, Wenyika says it's a rigorous application. It kept me up for nights. But well done. Okay, she's saying it took her 3 days. Oh, forgive me. She says it took me 3 days to apply. Okay. Oh, 17th of July. Look, you have something good going. Okay, it's not bad. You can do it. You can do it. So the Catalyst cohort, I waited to receive that definition, that weighty, you know, naming that we received for this particular cohort. And I just want to share with you about 3 things that I can see coming with the Catalyst cohort. The first is I perceive that this particular cohort has been on the move, but didn't have momentum. In fact, some of them thought they had momentum, but in the Catalyst cohort, 24 weeks will open this cohort into a radical level of momentum, of, you know, they're going to be so paced forward with power, with purpose, with precision, that it will look to some of you as though, what have I been doing? Was I playing all this while, though you had been working hard? So I perceive very strongly that a number of the visionaries within the Catalyst cohort have been on the move, but they will now have momentum. When momentum meets your mission, then you come into, you know, a majestic manifesto. And we're quite excited for what's coming. The second thing is I can perceive very strongly that a lot of visionaries within the Catalyst cohort are going to have trigger moments, trigger experiences, trigger opportunities, trigger relationships, trigger ideas. You're going to have that one thing that comes in contact with your vision and boom, skyrockets everything. Yeah, some people are going to receive an idea within the same vision they've been working on. You've always been in tech, but then you receive an idea that makes everything you've been doing now make sense and brings you into announcement. I can see trigger relationships. You know how you meet a person and you say, you know, because I met this person, these are the series of events. By the way, that's actually one of the graces that I naturally carry. I am a trigger relationship. When people meet me, they go on to a series, almost a chain of positive reactions in other people they meet, other experiences they have. And we have so many people who say that, but they don't pay me. Too many people say, I met this person in your community and I met that person and look at what we're doing together. And they're now co-founders and partners and co-authors. And nobody thinks to say, DDK, you were the one that created this wonder. And we just want to bless you with a private jet. But I think you'll come. I think I just have to be patient. I just have to cool temper. If I am patient, I know some goodies will still come. But what I'm not receiving in private jets yet, I'm receiving in access to nations. Every nation that I've had the privilege of putting my feet on, I'm finding powerful people. I know them as my coaching clients or my mentees or my sons and daughters. But when I get to their territories, I'm like, I didn't know you were a big madam. You didn't tell me all the big stuff you were moving. And I'm finding so many people in our community who are opening doors for me and getting me into really powerful rooms because they have gravitas in those spaces, and that's what is giving me joy about also even our geographical spread as we go global increasingly with the work. So the more new nations we have represented, the more excited I am. But I can see trigger experiences, trigger opportunities, trigger relationships, trigger ideas. One thing that comes and it opens up what you've been doing in a remarkable way. I see trigger interviews. Imagine Ruth Oluwadari getting interviewed on a podcast that is viewed by 1 million people, and it becomes a trigger, and people then start to search her out. She's been in the business of her work, but that's a trigger platform, a trigger opportunity that then opens up, even more possibilities for her, if you see what I mean. The third that I must highlight, and this one is definitely for everyone who comes in, I can see it. I even have received a design for my Super Sundays, that is connected to this particular dimension. And I'm extremely excited for it. I can see the visionary being catalyzed. We have 4 cardinals within Visionary Compass. That compass has 4 cardinals. Who can put it in the chat for me? Under 18s are not advised to join Visionary Compass Accelerator. We would say they go into emerging leaders. Emerging leader starts from what age? Is it 16 or 18? I'm not sure, but the starting point for a younger person will be emerging leaders, emerging leaders collective. No, I'm going to ask you again because I see coaches, and coaches can actually, be penalized. So I'm going to ask you again. I'm not talking about the 4 mastery levels of the visionary. You're correct if you say it's clarify, build, learn. That's the mastery levels of the visionary themselves. I'm asking for the 4 cardinals of the visionary compass. The 4 cardinals. What are they? Who's bringing it up for us? The 4 cardinals. And these 4 cardinals is what the core curriculum is built up around. We show you the 4 parts of what matters within the visionary life, right? Anyone going for it? Okay, let me share. It is the vision, the visionary, the vision flow, and the visionscape, right? Those are the 4. The vision, the visionary, the vision flow, and the visionscape. Those are the 4 cardinals. We have so much frameworks within the accelerator that you can see other things coming up. Mustafa is talking about social impact, ministry, public policy, entrepreneurship. These are the service tracks. And anyone who is new to the community is like, what is happening here? That's why we said you should come inside. That is why we said you should come. So you can come and see something. Come and see something. Anyway, so those are 4 cardinals of the visionary compass. And I was asking that to say to you the third thing that I really see about the Catalyst cohort, and it's around catalyzing the visionary. The visionary. More than ever before, here is what I mean. Beyond your vision and what you are here to execute, I have a compelling sense that you are going to become a version of yourself that you could not dare aspire to in as short as 24 months. You desire that version, but you have allocated it to a future dispensation. Do you understand? I can see that vividly. You are looking forward to it. You imagine yourself in that reality, but it's too ambitious to imagine you start to enter those dimensions in as short as 24 months. And it's not really just about you. This particular gift is because there is so much ground to cover, and you can't exceed yourself. At the end of the day, what we really produce is not merely about what we do, it's about who we are. So the Catalyst cohorts, this cohort will have an unusual acceleration of their personal mastery, of their inner work and their inner life, of character, you see, of becoming. There's a personal transformation that is going to happen, and you will love it. You would love it. So welcome on board. To those who have applied and are dilly-dallying on enrollments, we have 17 more slots. It fills out really, really quickly. We've got 17 more slots. Yes, Ademi Lola is looking to reach out to Oluwaseyi. That's solid. That's a wise leader there. You know, so if you're in a place where you need just a bit more clarity, you need to have your questions answered as you move from admission to enrollment, onboarding, this is the night for it, or today is the day for it. And then if you need some more support, and if you think that it's support only DDK can provide, I have a window between now and Monday evening, Monday by 9 p.m. WAT on Monday. Make sure that your email has come in to me. You know, so write to me at DDK or through DDK at immersecoaching.co. DDK at immersecoaching.co. I'm going to be on the lookout to support you in any way that is possible, you know, based on your personal circumstances and also on the strength of your admission. Because though we've all been admitted, we were admitted, or our scoring is in bands. Dr. Newton, am I correct? So in the midst of the admissions, there are also bands of excellence, right? So on the strength of your application, on the success of, you know, your band, and then on your personal circumstances, I'll be willing to support you in the way that I can between now and 9 p.m. on Monday. If you already have an admission, but you're not yet moved to enrollment and you are facing a constraint I could support you with, then push out that email to me. If it's just to be clearer, for sure, let's have the conversation. Our alumni visionaries are on board as well, and they're going to be able to support that process. And then if you have not applied, but you know categorically, beyond a doubt, that you should be in this cohort, you know, I want you to primarily apply, not even first about getting into the program, but telling yourself about the kind of person that you are. You are not a visionary who gives up on opportunities, who allows their seasons to pass them by. You are not a person who creates a gap between the future you see and the steps you take today to seize that future. So if your heart burns, the fire is a sign. If your heart burns, the fire is a sign, you see. And I just want to encourage you to do that. You know, get on the application and see if you can complete it, you know, before 11:59 p.m. WAT on Monday the 13th of July 2026. And let's do that together. Fikayo, the admission bans, I'm not even very qualified to talk about it, but what I meant with that, and Dr. Newton can genuinely answer if she had to, what I meant with that is there was a scoring, so imagine there's a scoring over 100, and let's say that you have to score, let's say you have to have 75% to be considered for admission. Some people would have 75, some people would have 79, some people would have 82, 88. You see, so though we are all admitted, if I had 88% across all the key criteria for admissions, then that's a stronger profile. That's a stronger profile than a person on 76. That's what I meant there. There's already a question, although I would say keep your questions for me because we're coming to the Q&A very shortly. But I see someone's already asking if I'm already in ELC and maybe I want to apply. Yes, you should apply. We actually have a special, the ELC discount is for ELC alumni, right? Let me keep quiet before I say what my senior leaders, I don't want to be putting my hand behind my back after we finish this session. Let me just keep quiet. Let me not say what I don't know anything about, okay? But if you're an ELC, I believe that your admission can be converted, and your tuition can be converted if you apply and get admitted into VCAP. Alrighty, I wanted to spend just a few minutes, maybe about the next 15, 20 minutes, before going to the Q&A, sharing a few things with you around the lessons that I'm coming out of the first half of 2026 with, okay? Rume has a question around ELC, and I'm sure that the team will be happy to support. So we're all coming out, we've all recently come out of the first half of the year, and it holds a lot of lessons. If you remember, one of the wins of 2026 is the requirement for capitalized continuity. Who remembers that? Capitalized continuity is actually one of the requirements for making the most of the year. And I taught those things, or those 10 portals, I taught them extensively at Vision in 2026. By the way, if you come through the end of my time with you, today, our time together, and you genuinely cannot, step into VCAP, and I would like to highlight some people who shouldn't come into Visionary Compass, okay? If you are falling significantly under the weight of an unhealed burden in your life, and there are seasons like that, if you are deeply bleeding, because you faced a transition, you've lost a loved one, you're grieving, you have experienced a significant challenge, your health has been under strain, an important part of your life, e.g. marriage or family, is calling for your attention and devotion, do not take on that healing journey alongside an intense execution journey. This is my personal recommendation. I'm not saying that you are experiencing the strain of needing to prioritize a part of your life and you're asking a question about balance, which we could answer for you today. I'm saying you're bleeding. If you're bleeding, if you're really aching, if you are gasping for air, if you need a support system, if you're coming out of a toxic context or relationship or life experience, if you've been deeply disappointed, if your soul is aching, do not take on an intense execution journey like Visionary Compass. Do not do it. Secondly, if you are in the midst of an execution season that you are directly responsible for within the context of a career, in a way whereby the next level of your career depends on succeeding with it, and you have not cracked it, do not undertake an intense execution journey of your own personal vision. Don't do it. We don't talk about it enough. The need to make your side gig when your career is calling for your highest attention, and your success or otherwise with your career will become a definer of your next level and could even impact on the identity and perception that is held of you in your industry. Don't do it together. Don't do it together. The third is, if you do not yet believe that you are capable of submitting yourself to an accountability system that will lay a demand on you to set aside multiple hours per week, non-stop for 24 weeks. There'll be breaks in between, but I think that there is a sense of reality that you must match with your sense of aspiration. Visionary Compass is demanding. You will be assigned to a certified accountability coach whose life's mission is to ensure that you do what you've promised to do. They will be assessed and rated. Your performance is their performance. So it's not merely that they like you, it is that they are obligated, paid, assessed, you see, and appraised to ensure that you live true to your commitments. The systems of accountability without a sense of personal ownership will feel like a burden. It may almost become irritating because we will not let you be. We will not let you be. Executives come into the program and they end up fearing us more than they ever feared the board that they were reporting to. Senior executives, you see, because we will get out of you what you said you were going to give to us. Yeah. People dream. People have dreams. I would call them dreams and not nightmares when they have not done, when they've not fulfilled their commitments. So if you don't perceive yourself at the level of maturity and mastery, and for those of you who are already in the program, you are already in. If we receive an email where you're like, I'm not sure I perceive it myself, we won't let you be. We will go out on social media and say, maintain your commitment. Kelechi, you are in already. Don't go anywhere. We will do those kind of things. Yeah, we will create posters to welcome you loudly into the program. You're already in. So I'm not talking about the 53 visionaries on board. I'm talking about the 17 more, right? Who could get in. So if you do not perceive yourself as capable of submitting as at now, if you don't perceive yourself as having the level of maturity and mastery to submit to a system of accountability and actually maintain, the requirements of weekly engagements as we build your customized execution roadmap for you and with you, then, maybe don't do it. Having said all that, what I was really saying is, if we come out of our time together tonight and you find that you cannot get into Visionary Compass yet, your minimum base would be the Vision in 2026 retreats. That would be your minimum base. I would really, really, with all my heart, recommend, I beg you, do not go forward into the remaining 5.5 months of 2026 without getting into my Vision in 2026 retreat. It's just what you have to do. I'm telling you, it's so profound on too many levels, and we're already preparing ourselves for, our second installment that carries you on into the rest of the year. But anyway, at the minimum, you should do that, okay? So let me spend the next few minutes with you just highlighting some of the strongest lessons that are coming through from the first half of the year. It's been a really, really big half year for us. We've been in the midst of vision execution, scaling, institutional redesign. We're currently working on our tech-enabled integrated transformation ecosystem. We are, strengthening our leadership structure, and we've had a lot of global opportunities as well to, carry the message of transformation and the work that we do at breakthrough coaching levels to different parts of the world. So it's been quite the year for us. And on my part, some of the strongest lessons that have come through at this, and I would love to share, at least maybe 2 or 3 with you. I am working on a State of Union, and if I get to do it, I'll be able to share the 10 that I've documented about the season. The first that I find very striking for visionaries is we are gradually transitioning out of the highlight on purpose and vision. And I'm not talking about just on the personal level of what I've experienced. I'm talking about what I'm really also sensing is happening for visionaries, for founders, for leaders like you. We're finding, and I did experience that vision is not the hardest part, and vision is not enough. We're finding now that for so many visionaries, once we have a stronger sense of what we want to do and our purpose begins to shine through in our hearts, and we're documenting and articulating a vision, and we start to build, you find that vision and execution are quite exciting in the beginning. But as you go along in execution, you begin to find that your vision and your pace, your growth, sort of outpaces your systems. And you then find that the matter is no longer merely about vision, but about capacity. So we're seeing increasingly, and I kept my eyes on that, within our institutions. I saw that the success we attained this year was not merely about visionary clarity. It was almost, in a sense, quite proportional, closely proportional to the capacity of our leaders. So I'm finding that though you may have a powerful vision for the year and your goals are really clear, if you don't move quickly from the genius of vision to the growth of systems, then it will still be difficult to get very far. So I saw that the investments we had made in, strengthening our leaders, supporting their growth, clarifying the expectations, laying increasing demands on them, stretched capacity in a way that made execution more exciting, right? So I'm highlighting that as something I want you to keep your eyes on. God is giving us greater visions and greater dimensions of our assignment. But the question has now become, what systems are required to make this possible? The coaching moment in my mind is to ask yourself, what is your vision demanding of you that your current capacity cannot supply? What is my vision demanding of me that my current capacity cannot supply? And if you're already in VCAP or coming in, I don't want you to merely find your highest fascination in how clear your vision is. In fact, in the first trimester of the program, you are going to find yourselves in a stunning space of visionary clarity. And it blows the minds of our visionaries so much, like, oh my God, you're going to have a richer sense of clarity regarding your vision. DDK at immersecoaching.co. DDK at immersecoaching.co. I'd encourage a team member to please write it out so that, yes, we have that locked down. Thank you. So what is my vision requiring of me that I can't supply in my current capacity? I can't supply in my current systems. I can't supply in my current thinking. Do you see? So that is something I've come out of the first half with. that is quite exciting, yet inviting us to even a greater level of stewardship and responsibility. I see how the capacity of my people is contributing to the ability to steward our vision. And I see things, quite frankly, that are clear to me on the visionary level. I can see where the institution can go, but we are not yet resourced for it vividly, and because I have now transitioned, building a business that is all about me and everything gets done by me, because we are now emerging into an institution that loses its founder dependency, then you find this amazing experience where you can see the gap between the vision you have for the institution and the level of its execution, because it's not anymore just about you. You see, you have all these brilliant people and you can see how they're getting great results, but you can also see where we could still go if we close these gaps. You see, it's a powerful thing. So vision isn't the hardest. For sure, capacity is now a critical requirement of how we will win, in the coming days. So I want to, this would be the biggest insight I'm leaving with you. I want you to not merely want capacity. I want you to go for accelerated capacity development. Yeah. I want you to see 24 months as enough for you to actively shift to a whole new competence band. I want you to see 16 months. You see, 3 months, 16 weeks, 24 weeks, 3 months as enough to crack and master a competence. And sometimes it's a competence for you as an individual. Sometimes it's a competence for your team. You keep talking about the same thing. You're stressed about the same thing. A day comes when you're just like, let's crack this thing as an institution. Let's master ownership intelligence. Let's reorder our decision-making structure. You see, let's take the clog off the wheels in this area. We're not communicating well. Let's crack it. Our brand is suffering. Let's fix it. You see, do not only desire capacity building, long for accelerated capacity development. How do you do that? Every time you see a gap you want to close, ask, what is the quickest way to acquire this competence? What's the quickest way? Sometimes we read to close competence gaps. Sometimes we take courses to close a competence gap. Sometimes we take a certification. Sometimes we engage in an increasingly challenging context or project that stretches us and grows our skill set. Sometimes we sit in rooms where we have detached immersion, close enough to see, detached enough to observe, right? Sometimes we follow after mentors, and we sit with them in a way that allows us to understand their work, and we apply those lessons and we start to grow that way. Sometimes we get hand-holding from experts, i.e. from coaches, advisors, consultants, etc. You must begin to ask now, what is the quickest way to acquire this competence? How can I grow this capacity? And for some of you, the answer has become VCAP. So when you get in, don't just look out for how clearer your vision gets, because it'll get clearer. Also look out for how to stretch your execution capacity, your leadership intelligence, your decision-making cadence, as the case may be. The second, remarkable lesson I want to share with you today is about how execution is not exertion. Execution is multiplication. Execution is not exertion. And this happens to be something I'm quite excited to also teach within Visionary Compass. I'm going to be spending some good time, more than ever before, on additional conversations around institutions, strengthening systems, building team members into leaders, and understanding the latitude and the ownership, the the bandwidth of ownership that you can give as leaders demonstrate increasing capacity, increasing responsibility, and, an increasing sense of commitment to the vision, and how you have to trust. Ownership is or giving autonomy for decision making as people demonstrate ownership is a game of trust. You have to believe they can do it before they've done it and step back enough for them to do it. Your heart may be beating like this thing is going to fall on its face, but you only have to come in when you believe you should come in. You have to throw them in the deep end enough. You will be using your leg to test the waters. You may be able to waddle in it, but you have to feel that it's deep enough. Then let them be. It's a really powerful, it's a delicate dance, but it's powerful. Execution is not exertion. And I would love to say to you to break out of the limiting constraint or the limiting lie that makes you feel like we have to be a big team before I think institutionally. If you have just one more person working with you, you're already a team. So start to apply these principles. But the more the people who work with you, the more critical it becomes for you to really think differently about execution. Many leaders struggle with delegation, and then some leaders delegate and abdicate. They delegate and they just run off, without clarity, without resourcing, without interventions that augment the growth areas of their people. But execution is not exertion. It is multiplication. And I now want to highlight to you a few things that sit within multiplication. The first that sits within multiplication is people. How many more people could come on board to support getting the results that I desire? Number two is actually technology. Technology. How can I get more done, through the power of technology? Even if I was working alone, how do I multiply myself? How do I multiply my intelligence, through the tool of technology? How can AI radically support my ability to get results and multiply, my execution beyond manual labor? Number three is partnerships, collaborations, communities. How can I create, an advantage that upgrades my execution by not going alone? You see, some of us want to host a conference this year, but maybe you should host a conference. Maybe you should partner and hold a panel that is named after your own institution. And it's your panel sponsored by you. You speak there, you bring your people there, you make your contribution, you co-host, and you go home not having to bear the load of a full-run conference. Some of you should write a book with 3 other friends. You've been thinking about it for the longest time, but maybe you should take 3 chapters and 3 other people take 3 chapters each, and you have a powerful material to share with the world, you see. So what communities can shift my execution capacity? What partnerships can get me faster to where I want to go so that I don't have to do everything by myself? The fourth is the principle of leverage. Leverage can shift you from exertion into multiplication. And we're talking about what resources already do part of the work for me. So are there templates that I can use? Are there reports that already tell the story I'm trying to tell and I can customize for my utility? Is there insider insights, that exist uniquely to my industry that if I didn't know I would be stressed by? And look, I've had many experiences like that where one thing I didn't know that I now knew became the game changer in the way that I succeeded. So execution is about multiplication. For example, we were in the United States, the United Kingdom, and Greece for our coaching retreats, right? And we didn't have to be physically in the United States before the time of my arrival to have the grounds prepared. It's the principle of collaboration. We had stunning leaders who've been a part of our community who started to say way back in the day, DDK, once you're ready to come to the US, we'll be happy to support you. And once we moved into that global readiness, we started to reach out to say, hey, let's do this together. We're coming into your city. And they worked with us, some for 3 runs, 5 runs, and we came together again. Excellent execution, that didn't put an unusual strain on our own team, if you see what I mean. And once we even began to build our materials for the retreats, we were practicing the principle of leverage. We took what we already knew and had worked for us over the course of the last 5-6 years of executing visioning events, and we just built 2026 on it. We also used the principle of leverage in that this was the first year, and I will speak about that separately. This was the first year where we executed 7 visioning experiences from a central project management office. So we had the different institutions across our multi-subsidiary corporation coming together to share resources, share ideas, and we used a central format in the way that we approached getting out with the 7 distinct editions of the visioning events. And, quite an excellent run, quite a stunning run. We were even able to pioneer a brand new expression of the visioning events for apostolic leaders and ministry gifts, which was surprisingly, such a big breakthrough for a first run. So you will find that you need to move from exertion to multiplication through the people you surround yourself with, the partnerships you build, the technology that you leverage, the technology that you make, you utilize, and then the leverages you create are in resources that exist that can make you go forward quickly, you see. And then with moving from exertion to multiplication, a 5th factor at play that is worthy of highlighting is if you are able to upskill quickly. Multiplication is also about upskilling. If you are able to, I read just one book, November of last year, and I bought just one goal-setting course from a coach of mine, December of last year, sat with the book and the course that was just like a strategy course, a course helping you design, high intervention programs or high impact interventions is what it was called. And sitting with the modules and reading the book gave me a clear picture, and it was from that experience that I said, I'm just going to have one website that houses everything this year. And it was a game changer. It was also the first time we had the highest number of people buying all the different editions, all the different retreats, saying, I'm going to be in the room for policy leaders, ministry gifts. I'll be with you in Santorini. I'll attend the signature. I'll come to the US, and I salute people like that. So sometimes it's just in the upgrade of your skill set or higher level of wisdom, and it becomes a game changer in the way that you get results. Okay, the final thing I get the time to highlight with you is around how success isn't about money. It's about the quality of your decisions. It's about the quality of your decisions. It is always make the moves before the money. Make the moves before the money. Make major moves. Plan for major moves. It's about decision quality. Many people think about capital. They think about where will the money come from. But opportunity is produced and protected by good judgment. It's good thinking. You have to want to be in the room, apply to be in the room, dress up to be in the room, talk about being in the room, and then start to say, how do we get the fee? Because I'm going to be in the room, as against I can't be there because I can't pay for it. Do you see this? That's not the way to live. I found it this year more than ever before. And in my case, it wasn't primarily because I was thinking about money and then how to make it, to be honest. It was around 3 different other things. The first was when we started to think about rebuilding for the 3rd time our tech platform. once I had no thought about the thousands of dollars I had spent, once I allowed my mind to completely erase the burden of previous investment, I was able to ask the question, where can I find the finest tech creatives who can co-envision this possibility with me? Once I wasn't worried about if I will find people who are at the class of what I am looking for, then they'll charge me a lot. Because money was not the conversation, I didn't have a mental block or a roadblock on the journey to getting that result. And I say this tongue in cheek. When I found them, I was shocked at what they were charging. I thought what they were charging was very decent. I was rather blown away. I just thought, gosh, we 100% can do this. Is it still an arm and a leg, a few or so fagoses here and there? Maybe. This is very achievable. Once I wasn't fixating on we've spent so much and for the kind of work we want to build, it will be too costly. No, what do I want? What do I want? Made a great difference. It definitely made a great difference. And then I'm thinking about my team members as well. They worked so hard. And when we came through to the end of that execution season, I sat before a spreadsheet, and generosity, which is a core value for me anyway, was not a problem at all. I looked at what had come in, and I was looking at a generous spread that could touch everybody. They didn't work with a mindset of what are we going to earn? They worked with a mindset of what are we going to learn? Who are we going to become? How do we position our institution? But someone received his bonus and he wrote back to me, I think there's been a glitch from accounts. He thought there was a glitch. He was that touched. I said, there's no glitch, Oga. You've done good work. And then we're sitting at the beginning of a next level redesign within our compensation structure, in the institution to even upgrade our ability to reward our people. Because it's really first about make the moves and you're going to get rewarded. You're going to get rewarded, right? And then for some, it's just shifting the thinking from I can't be in the room because I can't pay for it to I'm in the room. How do I pay for it? And we have all manner of negotiations that people bring to us. The only one I don't like hearing is, I can't pay for it. Can I get a full scholarship? I don't understand. Well, if you can't pay for it and you can't make an offer, it's a sign that maybe it's not the time. You can't look at your world and you can't frame possibilities in that entire universe. And you outrightly are coming to me, well, not to me, thankfully, you're coming to my team for a full scholarship. I need a full scholarship. No, I do need a full scholarship as well. Do we give full scholarships? To help you understand what I'm trying to say, do we give full scholarships? Yes. But we hold the prerogative. We like to look at people trying their best, and we see realistically that in this season, we are sent to you. We have to off-take the demand because you are meant to be in this room and we refuse that money stops you. But that you don't put in that work first, but because you already know that DDK is generous, then you come to us that way, there's something off about it. Make your moves, liquidate assets, liquidate relational currency of goodwill, make an exchange, trade something, ask for a discount, ask for a deferred payment system, do something, show that you've got your skin in the game, right? Because execution, because it's never about money, it's about the quality of your decisions. Seizing opportunities is really about the quality of your decisions, the quality of your moves, the quality of your thinking, the quality of your, next steps as far as that vision is concerned. So we found ourselves continually moving toward bigger attainments because we're putting our skin in the game and making sure we stayed in rooms that mattered and also creating those rooms for others. Beyond thinking, what is this going to cost us? And as an institution, even as an individual, you would always find me on the side of what do we want to create as an experience for the people before we run the numbers? I'm telling you, we've never run the numbers first. What we're saying, we will never go beyond this. We must make a margin of, so anything that has to happen must happen this way. No, we would always design what we want the people to experience first, and then when we get that, we really start to say, what's in it for us, of what's left. But we would always prioritize the delivery of value, first of all. So your coaching moments is really around looking at an opportunity and being able to say, is it aligned? Is it important? Is it now? If you answer yes to these three, go make a major move. Is it aligned to my vision, my values, my desires, my need in this season? Is it important? Does this carry the power to create next level transformation for me? Does it give me an opportunity to be a person I've never been, and to walk into rooms I've never entered, and to see it on platforms? Is it important? Does it carry weight? And then number 3, is it now? Should this be next year? Or is this my moment? If you say yes to the 3, go for it. Go for it. Take yourself out of something to be able to bring yourself into something. Okay? Those are some of the thoughts I wanted to share with you. I would love to read from you which of this, created a light bulb moment for you, which of this ignited your heart and you feel like, DDK, okay, I hear you on that one and I want to think about it more. I want to apply it. So I want to read that from you in the next few minutes, and I will pass you over again to our host as we move forward toward the rest of tonight. Okay? So tell me, I love it. Oluwatoyin says, execution is not exertion. It's about multiplication. Yes, yes, yes. Execution is not exertion. My lady, Rosalinda, I'm happy to have you on the call. It's a joy to see you. The last point about making moves, yes, it's never about money, it's about major moves. Opportunity responds to the quality of your decisions, yes. Odupola says, moving from exertion to multiplication, that hits you good. I love it. Tolu says, success is about the quality of your decisions, and it's not about money. Success is not about money. The will to be in the room must be stronger than money. Yes. The mind shift about what is the quickest way to close this gap and grow capacity. I love it. Ejiro says success is not about money. It's about the quality of your decisions. Lara says that question around the quickest way to acquire competence. She loved it. Olubukola says don't merely want capacity. Go for accelerated capacity development. Aderilola says you have to come out of something to come into something. Yes. Treasure, thank you too for the gratitude. When I said that what your vision is demanding from you, when we're asking the question, what is my vision demanding from me that my current capacity can supply? It got you thinking about where you're lacking just now, what you can do. Vision is not enough. You must have capacity. Ejiro says opportunities produced by good thinking. Yes, yes. Tapiwa says, what I'm creating must first enhance the experience of the people, not the numbers. Yes. Oriola says, don't just go for capacity, but accelerated capacity. Find quick ways to increase competence. Kaziana says, Judith, I'm happy to have you on the call. What struck you was when I said it's not about money. If you want to go for it, liquidate relationships, exchange value. And you've experienced that actually, Judith, thinking about your story. So you can do it again and again. Kelechi says the clarity of vision isn't enough. Capacity is a critical requirement. Fantastic, fantastic. Oh, wow. Nomvula says, I lead with value and that she can attest to this as a recipient. By the way, Lady Nomvula is an alumnus of the Powerhouse cohort and she's doing great things. Augustine, I love you. Remember what I shared in the beginning, vision as a tool of correction for realignment, not necessarily right or wrong. That is so good. That is so good. Is it aligned? Is it important? Is it now? Then go for it. How can I liquidate my relationships? I can seek out a sponsor, from a leader that I've volunteered with and I've worked for. I can seek out a sponsorship to say, this is an important moment in my life and I'm looking for support. 10% on the tuition will help me. 25% on the tuition will help me. Or I can ask for payment in lieu of future service. I've done this before. I provided corporate training for a consulting firm that I previously worked in so that I could fund a vision, and they paid me upfront. I mean, they had never done it. I wrote a letter, I made a proposal, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. I just need the money upfront, and then I'll train for free for the next 9 months. And, the chairman did that for me, for which I'm permanently grateful. So you can liquidate relationships that way, right? You could come into an institution and commit to supporting, providing value, volunteering, based on being known by its founder or leader, who can vouch for you on the basis of that relationship. And you get in and you make that exchange of your services in lieu of a tuition. The possibilities are just boundless, but it takes good thinking to make sure you're creating opportunities for yourself. I mean, I went to Harvard and I asked for a discount, I asked for a scholarship to get into an executive education program that they didn't get scholarships for. But I was like, I'm African, I'm trying to change the world. I'm just a young African woman trying to just help the world in my own little way. See all the work I'm doing. And I got much more than just a discount, and that program has opened many other doors. But you just have to be willing to try. You just have to be willing to, make your moves. So that's what I mean on that side. Alrighty, thank you for being great students. Kelechi says the big question on her side is, what is the vision requiring of me that my current capacity cannot supply? Because we're now in a capacity conversation. It's not enough to have a great vision. You also have to really carry remarkable capacity. Thank you so much. I'll be back, I think, but I'll put it in the hands of our host at this time.
Wow, what I would say an immersive coaching session with our pro coach. So powerful. Thank you very much, Mar. Wow. So many insights for me personally. What stood out for me, all of the 6 principles stood out, but what sticks so powerfully is the fact that you should always seize, when seizing opportunities, you're not first thinking about money, but it's really about putting your skin in the game. So thank you so much, Ma, for that, and for the many other principles around the principle of leverage, partnership, people, asset, and technology. Thank you so much, Mar. All right, we move on quickly to the next powerful segment of tonight's convening, which is the alumni conversations. So stay tuned as I pass the baton to the media, and of course, after which we would receive our guests, Lady Diana, Lady Gochi, and Lady Boda. Over to you, media.
Ugochi Obidiegu is an impact strategist and systems builder who is passionate about creating systems that put world-class thinking within reach of the people who need it most. Over the past decade, she built the Safety Check from a divine inspiration into a globally recognized child safety brand. Today, it boasts NETC approved storybooks, Enitoshed recognized best practices, an educational game app, a Mandela Washington Fellowship, international speaking engagement, and has equipped thousands of children across West Africa and beyond with life-saving safety knowledge. That remarkable journey taught her how to build systems that reach people who were never originally considered the intended audience. Today, Ugochi is building an AI-native adaptive learning platform designed to close the foundational learning gap for children. She also writes Impact Vantage, a newsletter for impact-oriented founders navigating blended finance and philanthropy investor collaboration, and is the author of Stories of Faith, A Girl's Walk with Her Lord. Her work is rooted in the conviction that great systems begin with the people furthest from the table, that rigor and faith are partners rather than opposites, and that the greatest way to serve a community is to build something the community can truly own. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Ugochi Obidiegwu. Dina Chukwuemeka believes that every season invites us to grow in clarity, alignment, and faithful stewardship. She creates space for people to pause, reflect, and build from a place of clarity and alignment rather than pressure, helping them respond to the season they are in with greater intention and wisdom. A devoted wife and mother of 3, Dina is continually learning what it means to steward each season well. She believes that meaningful growth isn't about rushing into what's next, but about faithfully responding to what God is doing today and trusting that one season faithfully prepares us for the next. As a member of the 2024 VCAP Elite cohort, Dina found a community that both affirmed and challenged her. VCAP gave language to ideas she had already begun growing into, while providing the structure, accountability, and perspective to steward them more intentionally. Those lessons continue to shape who she is, how she lives, how she serves, and how she builds today. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Dina Chukwuemeka. Boldam Taiwo, widely known as Lady Boldam, is a senior marketing executive, institution builder, and one of Africa's most consequential voices on feminine leadership. She is the founder and visionary of the Pan-African Institute for Women in Leadership, a continental institution dedicated to equipping and commissioning African women to lead at the highest levels. Its flagship initiative, the Powell Summit, brings together hundreds of women leaders each year to build strategy, strengthen community, and commit to a decade of purposeful leadership. In her corporate career, she serves as the Customer Marketing Director for West and Central Africa at Diageo, bringing nearly 2 decades of experience across marketing, branding, and business development. Lady Boldam is also the author of 4 books, the visionary behind the Refined Lady movement, and the recipient of several prestigious continental leadership awards, including recognition as one of the top 15 most influential women in marketing and communications, and one of the top 100 most inspiring women in Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Boldam Taiwo.
Alrighty. You're welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm happy to see you, Ugochi, and my darling Dina. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Dina, how you doing?
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's the voice. That's that voice and that energy. I am truly pleased to share moments with you and to have this conversation. I am thinking about what I've just heard, from your profiles. And I feel like I am humbled and honored to steward this star-studded, cast and panel. I don't know if Lady Boldam would even be able to join us. I was with her just a few hours ago, we had a full day Powell summit. Very powerful, time together. And when I heard she was on the panel, I'm just like, how is Boda meant to do it? The caliber of things that happened at the summit today, was just really breathtaking. But thank you for being here. We're just going to have a short conversation. And I want to start off by saying there's also something about the beauty of the VCAP women. It's a lot. It's actually a whole lot, And I was still with Ugochi just a few days ago in New Jersey. So it's a joy to be here with you. Allow me to start off by just asking you what your post-VCAP seasons have been. Did you discard the journey? Was it crazy much? And you're just like, we're done. Or do you still find the spirit of the experience, just filling out newer parts of your journey and your work and your relationships? What's been your post-VCAP life? I'll start with Gochi and then I'll hear from Dina.
Okay, thank you so much for inviting me. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. So, post VCAP, it's still very much a part of my journey. A few days ago, I was updating my to-do list for the weekend, and I was writing that I was going to revisit my VCAP notes to walk through the questions that I did for my business model canvas and all of that, because the idea that I went back to VCAP for in 2024 is what I'm currently building out in 2026. So I made a note that I was going to go back to just refresh. Some things have changed, but many things are still the same, because when I did the task, the assignment, I did it because I knew what I wanted to build. So it's not a waste. I'm still going to use it in this season. So post VCAP, everything I have learned is still a part of my life. When I am thinking and I am planning of the things I need to execute, the work I need to get done, I'm transferring the knowledge, I'm transferring the systems, because that's actually why I went back to VCAP a second time. I wanted to work within that context. So I'm leveraging it in my work today.
I absolutely love it. Ugochi, I could listen to you for a year. Like, I actually enjoy, being your person and having you in my corner. Dina, talk to me. What's your post-VCAP journey been? Especially because you were valedictorian and you were so outstanding, so revered, in the program. You had so much traction, and I remember saying to myself, as I thought about your journey and your wins, I was like, if I'm in VCAP, this babe will be my friend. Like, I'll just be asking her questions steady. But now you're out. What's that journey being post the accelerator?
Awesome. Thank you so much, DDK. I'm so excited and honored to be here. Gochi, good to see you. Congrats on your recent launch. I saw you and I celebrate you. Where I am today, in 2024 or 2025, when I graduated, for me, VCAP didn't finish the work. It literally just broke another layer. It just started another layer to literally everything. So although I can list some of the projects and things I've worked on, you talked about having traction, which I did. For me, VCAP today is God inviting me into deeper roots, literally for all the components of VCAP. So when I went in, it was about my business, and that's why I got traction. And then the other pieces were getting the effect of the business work, but not really. Last year was about the other pieces, my marriage, my children, other pieces. And that's where the roots are digging deeper for me currently. For me, VCAP was very formative to even the way I view vision and myself as a visionary leader, though we use those words a lot. It's become not so much about bigger for me, but deeper for me. And I'm even slow to talk about it because I'm still in another form of transition, even from VCAP, because God is literally taking me into different, deeper layers on the different components that I worked through in 2024.
Well done. Well done. And thank you. I would love to let you know, please, everyone, that this is actually your time. And we have a window for you to, really gain some more clarity. And I am proud of my team for the selection. There is something about the two of the women, these leaders that we've got on the panel, that is special. They're very strategic, but they're also very, very compassionate. They lead with heart. So I feel like those two make a big difference, that you can get answers on execution, but you can get answers on life, on the softer things, but are also really critical in the way we ultimately make decisions about how we move with something as important as this accelerator. So we curated this for you. We maybe have some 30 more minutes in here, and we just really want to take your questions. So it's not a kind of panel where I'm really the one asking the questions. I just want to facilitate for you what you might want to know as you make the important considerations regarding VCAP. So while that is coming through, I've got a question that is really strong on my mind for you, Dina. But I would ask it and give you some time to put it through together for me, and then I'll go to Gochi. The question is around the stewardship of time. You were pregnant and had a baby. Look, and you are actually that kind of mother who is so into the mothering process. Like, you see motherhood as a calling. So, I mean, that's the kind of mother you are. So this is not just I had a baby. This is that I am invested. I mother, like that's the only thing I do, yet I do these other things. I believe one of the biggest questions in the room is really around, how dare I get into something so intense when I don't see any other space in my life? Like, what am I supposed to do and how is this going to work? So I really want to talk to us about how you created that kind of stewardship and system when it comes to, making the most of your time, your energy, and even your attention to get results. While you're pulling that in for me, I want to ask Ugochi a question. I think she has an answer for me immediately. And it's around being one of our few two-timing visionaries in VCAP respect. Can you talk to me about, this versus that? How was your first experience versus your second experience? And then would you recommend that for anybody else? Is that someone who has been in the powerhouse cohort, or let's say that someone thinking about coming in again, what should they look out for to determine if getting back in is the next most appropriate step they should be taking? But first, run me your this versus that for being in the first and then the second time.
Okay, that's a very good question. And interesting, I got that a lot from some of the current admitted students. They came to ask me that, how are you able to do this? So the very first time I got into VCAP, I got in on a full scholarship, the first edition. Thank you so much for doing that for me, because by the time I saw the cost months later, I knew I wouldn't have made it. The Lord was just helping my life, So thank you so much for that. When I came into VCAP the first time, I was already building the safety check. So the safety check was not just starting, it was not an idea, it had gotten somewhere. So I came into the build lab because I was trying to institutionalize aspects of it. And I needed the system that VCAP had promised to provide, just to make sure that I followed through. And so I came in with that knowledge, and I made sure that I did all my assignments and my tasks, knowing that I was trying to build in that area. I was not doing my assignments because I was submitting it to someone. I was doing it because I knew that I really needed this information. The first time around was longer. When you came in, you went straight to the lab that you would prefer. But when I was coming back the second time, things had changed. So now when you come back the second time, you would have to go through the Clarify lab first, which is actually one of the reasons I came back, because I had received a new direction, from God on the next steps of the things I needed to do. So it was fresh. And because my life was busy, I needed a system that could make me do what I needed to do. which is why this is important for anybody on this call right now. See, everybody is busy. We're all busy. But if there is something you know that God has put on your heart to do, then it is important to leverage an existing system that can help you be accountable. So that was what VCAP did for me in 2024 when I came back again, because I was in the final year of my master's degree program, all the other things I was doing, but this was needed. It had to be done. So I just had to submit to a system and knew that my kind of person, I don't like to embarrass myself. If I say I'm going to do something, I want to show up and do it. So that no coach is going to meet me and say, you did not do the assignment. So, that accountability just helped me to show up and do what I needed to. So this second time around, you had to go through clarify first. So take that idea, right now on this call, there are people who know what they want to do. There are those who are still not sure, is this the way we should go? That's why that clarify was good. So everybody had to clarify again. Is this really what you want to do? And then going through that process helps you now make the right decision moving forward. Now that VCAP-X has changed slightly, I'm not sure what the system is, but I'm sure you will still need to clarify again because it's very important. And this is the important thing about VCAP. They took feedback based on what was shared in earlier cohorts, and they kept refining the process. So Catalyst cohort, you guys are getting the best of everything because, yeah, I'm telling you, as someone who did it twice, and now there's another change, another upgrade, So that was the major difference between the first time and the second time, because I could see that feedback from the first cohort had been taken in. So for example, when we did the first cohort, the core curriculum was long, it was lengthy, because you all know that PDDK knows how to teach. She can just be with here for 3 hours. However, we had people on the team, alumni who were like, it's a bit long, can we make it bite-sized, so that it's easy? And when I came back, I actually saw that feedback had been taken into consideration. So it wasn't that long, it was broken into chunks so that you can follow through and you can actually assign parts of it to your day and to your work. So I would say those are like that's the this and that. And then the next thing you said is what to look out for, right?
Yeah, if you're considering, if you've been in the program and you're saying, maybe I should come back again, how do you know you're making the right decision?
Yes. So it ties to what I mentioned earlier, that we are all busy. And busy not because, when I say busy now, it's not, the bad way where people are just busy doing what's not really relevant to their life and destiny. Like busy because you have real commitment, real things that you need to get done. But if you really know that God has put something on your heart, or you know that there is something you want to do, but by yourself, you can do it. But if you do it with others, you would even do it better, more efficiently, and more effectively. Then it's in your best interest to plug into somewhere where there is a system. You don't have to overstress yourself when there is a working system. You just come and plug in what you're trying to do into an existing system and get it done. So when I did VCAP the second time, like I said, I was in my final year during my degree, and I knew all the moving parts. What I just did, I agreed with one of my friends. We had a meeting day every Thursday, which we still maintain up till now in 2026. Every Thursday, 8:30 p.m., we'll meet ourselves on Zoom. We will gist, we will catch up, but then we're doing our VCAP task. So that ensured that each week we were doing the things that needed to be done, because the truth is, if you work in the diaspora, for example, by the time you finish your 9 to 5, you get back home, you're tired. You just want to sleep. And that's actually why I understood people wanted to just Netflix and chill. But that's how you would Netflix and chill. 3 years is gone, 5 years is gone. But you have to now be intentional about that time and set it on your calendar, show up. And were there days when we showed up and we said, oh, it's not easy to be a visionary. We don't want to be a visionary today. We will laugh about it. Tomorrow we go again. Do you get? So if you know that you have something you need to do, and we've heard that 2026 is a critical time, please plug in. And if you've done VCAP before, but you are starting something afresh, or you still need that accountability system to get your goals done, please come back. They'll be willing to accept you. If you want a discount, ask, you get it.
I don't understand. Hey, God. As in, you sat here and hey, God, I'm flabbergasted. I'll come back to you. Okay. Okay, Dina, over to you. Thank you, Gochi. Remarkable. So much light. I love it.
If I'm answering the question right, where I'll start is this. Gochi said it. Everybody's busy. Our definition of busy, Seth, get definition. I was 6 months pregnant with our third child. I had two toddlers. I was working full time as a project manager in a SaaS company, very, very busy IT projects. I was preparing to take my PMP. I don't know who told me I should be pregnant and doing PMP again. I was relaunching my coaching program. Like I had already started thinking of those things. I remember because it was February, I was getting ready to plan flying out to my friend of 20 years, her wedding, because she said I must be her maid of honor. We were starting an Airbnb business with my husband. And so the reality is on paper, which time did I want to do any of these things, right? But there had been a stirring in me for a long time, okay? And it's not because I felt like my life was empty. My life was really full. And I love how DDK, it's like she knows me and I'm just wondering how, because I don't play about my mothering. I see it as a true sacred place of stewardship. I don't play about my motherhood. And that doesn't mean I'm not yelling at my kids. I yell at them sometimes. But I see the true weight of being a mother. And so I don't play with it. I don't play with it at all. At that time, some of the questions I was asking myself was, why do I want more? See what you have. Why do you want more? I was questioning whether my ambition was selfish. Is it coming from a selfish place? Is this about impact or is this about pride? You know, am I wanting to be visible? Am I chasing visibility in a sense, right? Like, am I looking for affirmation somewhere else? I asked myself these questions. I was struggling with them. But the question that sat with me the most was, am I wasting what God has entrusted to me? I just kept thinking that. I always had this thing about, ever since I listened to Miles Monroe and how people die with purpose, I have this healthy fear of, okay, God, use me. Even though a lot of times, I won't lie, Oguchi said it, I don't want to be really used. I want to chill. This visionary life, as she said, it's not every day you feel like, we go. No, it's not. Right. So there was a lot. And I'm sharing that just to show you like the space I was in then, because that's probably the space you're in right now. You've been getting things or having stirrings and things like that. One thing that VCAP, DDK, the team, I realized it wasn't that VCAP was the beginning. It wasn't like an answer in the sense of multiple choice, but the language, it was like the language, the structure, the accountability, the community, the voice of DDK. God used her. It gave me permission to say, I need to steward what God is already doing. That, see, Dina, you are tiptoeing through this thing. Do it and do it fully. Like, stop playing around. You did play too much. Do it and do it fully. Like, be all the way in, right? So I came in with a lot of those things on my mind. And I can't remove that, even in that space of our own was 40 weeks. So our own was 40 weeks. So I had to, one thing I learned from DDK was, how can I, even though I want to do something, I'm still a wife, I'm still a mother, I still have work. I'm so blessed with my family, my husband, who was even pushing me to do the thing anyways. And my husband, my family, during that time, remember, I had two toddlers. I was pregnant. Then I had the baby in the middle of VCAP. Our baby is 2 years old for our 2024 VCAP. My community stood behind me. My family stood behind me, because even me, sometimes I'm like, how did I turn in every assignment? I was always surprised to see my name on that starboard. Like, I felt like I was just in the flow, doing what it is that I needed to be doing. And that was because of the structure I had. I mean, I let people know. I wasn't like, oh, I'm doing VCAP, so everybody should leave me alone. I made sure that everybody was coming along with me. Even my kids at graduation, we graduated together, all of us. We're all together graduating. My husband, my mother-in-law, all of us, we graduated together because we were all in this thing. I would share things with them. I would talk through things with them. And so there's no right time. I think that's one thing I realized is there's no right time. March, I sat down to have a Zoom call in a restaurant called Firebirds to talk to my sister-in-law who's worked with DDK before. Because I was like, VCAP, this thing seems very hot. Like, why would I be going in like this? I said, let me start small. I'm new to DDK, just a couple of years. Let me start with an Immerse Pro. Let me start small. And she kept saying, no, do the VCAP. So I was looking for an excuse not to do it. Maybe you're also looking for an excuse not to do it. That's what I was looking for, honestly. I was trying to build a argument for Dina. You're too busy. You have children. You have work. You have all of that. But I don't know that there was something in January, DDK, that you talked a lot about. Execution is not a personality trait. And that thing stuck with me. Everything is a competence. And I was like, competence kid. All of us learn that personality. Either I'm an extrovert and we learn that and we become like trees on those things. This is me. No thing I would join about DDK. She's not talking about how we should be evolving this. I said, but it spoke to me. I won't lie. It spoke to me. And that's why I did VCAP. Not because I really knew what I was getting into fully. I read that thing from beginning to end. All of that nice material you guys put in, I read it from beginning to end, really. But I still wasn't really sure about what am I doing here. But there was a language and the way everything was at that time. And God said, stop playing with me. Do what I'm telling you to do and do it. Be part of this process and do it. Don't worry about the outcome. Do this thing that I'm doing for you. For me, it was go through this process, stop self-sabotaging yourself and do this thing. So of course I can talk about it. Gochi mentioned it. Okay, how I structure my time, all of those things. But I needed more than that because honestly, what VCAP also revealed is I'm already structured and I'm already an executor. But those things they weren't the reason why I kept going through the program. I loved I loved all those assignments. I really did. They challenged me. That Clarify stage where everybody goes through, it challenged me because I told myself, okay, I need to be a beginner. I thought I was coming in knowing myself, being so self-aware. No, just go through that process and let God do what it is he's doing. I realized for me, it wasn't clarity. It was, what do I need to remove? I had too much junk. VCAP removed a lot of the junk for me so I could actually hear and see what God had already been saying. So let me stop there.
Oof, this is good. My heart is burning. You know when I know I'm in good company? Because I have an affinitive gift for light. That's actually one of the highest gifts in my life. I'm like a sponge for light, for revelation. That's it. And if you were my 40th birthday dinner, that's what my second mother said about me, my mentor of 20 years. She said the biggest thing about Debola is that she's a sponge. When I'm around, how I know I'm around light is that I start to receive instructions. I've received 9 ideas listening to both of you. 9. I have also received something about upgrading the catalyst cohort just by listening to you, and I will do it. I will do it. I've seen it. Oh, this was good. This was good. Thank you for VCAP for having me, moderate this panel. Typically, they won't allow me to do something like this, but look at God. I needed this. There are 2 questions I have seen. I should share ideas. Okay, so because we sat here together now, next thing, you're already toasting me for ideas. Please, people pay me for these things. But yes, I got you. We've got 2 questions that I saw by visionary Rachel. I'm going to have to bring Dr. Newton of New Things to come answer these questions. They're quite administrative. I think that she would have valuable answers for us. The first that I saw by Rachel, she said, when people return to the program, is that for continuity for the same vision or project, or the entire curriculum is revised vastly every quadrimester? She's already my quadrimester flow. And then she's got a second one. What's the difference between the group coaching and the exclusive?
Okay, thank you so much for allowing me to answer this question. I think I'll start from the second one and then I'll go back to the first one. The difference between the group coaching and the exclusive is based on the extra benefits that the exclusive tier gets. So everybody comes into the program, you're assigned to a lab, you go through the curriculum, you get a coach, you go through the modules, the assignments. But for the group coaching, your coaching is within a group. Everybody goes into a lab, but your coaching is within a group. And once a month, you come into the accountability meetings with your group. in breakout labs. The exclusive coaching tier also have that. But in addition to that, there's the one-on-one coaching access that exclusive coaching tier gets to do. So you get a chance to pick a time with your coach, and anything that wasn't dealt with in the group coaching session, you get a call to do one-on-one with the coach, and then they put you through. That's one benefit of the exclusive coaching tier. For this particular season, you would have the visionary parchment for the exclusive, where the DK gets to go into your vision and then shares with you a visionary parchment and tells you some specific things to do with your vision and how that should go. So that's a benefit from the exclusive coaching tier. Another benefit is that you get 35% discount to Dr. Oleg certification. So Dr. Oleg is a premier coaching guru, and you have, having that extra layer. Visionary Gina had that extra part of being in the exclusive coaching tier, so you get a chance to have that. And then we have expert mentors that we know that the curriculum might not maybe answer all your questions. Your coaches might not be able to get all the answers to you. So for the exclusive coaching tier, you get priority access to the expert mentors council, and you say, oh, I'm going through this issue, or I want this business answer, or I want this answer. And then we say, okay, this is who we have. Who do you want to speak to? And then you get to speak with the person. On group coaching is on a case by case, like your coach will have to say, they've done this, they've done that, they've done every single thing, and they can't find the answers in our MS, repository. And then we say, okay, we can maybe see how to assign it to a coach. So the unique differences between group and exclusive. I hope I've answered, and I want to see you in the exclusive coaching visionary, Rahel, I think. And then the difference if you come back, the system is basically almost the same. A few changes happen in coaching calls, in maybe the assignments, in every other thing, but the core curriculum stays the same. So if you're coming in, you can either come in with the vision you've already started with and you want to gain more traction, or like Lady Gochi did. She came in because she knew that she had a different vision and she wanted the VCAP system to put her through it. And then, so you can come with an existing vision, or you come in with a new vision. It's all up to you, and then we just walk you through it. I hope I've answered that properly for you. Thank you.
Dr. Newton, thank you so much. Dr. Newton is an actual egghead. She's an administrative genius. Like she's really built a very solid administrative protocol around VCAP. We've got another question here for you. Do we progress through the labs? I know she means the mastery levels throughout the program. That's a very interesting question, by the way, if you see what I mean, because when I built the initial architecture for VCAP, I thought people would be able to move mastery levels every 90 days. Like you can start at Clarify, you get to scale. Beloved, you are likely to stay in a mastery level throughout your time with us. We're finding that true mastery is patient work, honestly. So I can answer that. Another reason, based on even answering this question, that people come back into VCAP is to continue to the next mastery level. Yeah, people come back and they say, I'm ready. I've moved beyond Clarify to launch, and I'm in build. I really want to keep growing within the system. So yeah, that's another reason. Alrighty, I'm looking if we have another question, but I can't see any except the good news that a group of well-meaning individuals across the world are working on my private jet. I appreciate the work going on, and I know God will favor you. It will be done in a short amount of time. Thank you so much. I will ask my final questions before you leave. I have one particularly for you, Dr. Newton, which I'll take last. For Ugochi, my closing question to you is a this or that type of question. If you had to think about VCAP, the organized experience, versus VCAP, the self-organized experience, what has mattered the most, i.e. VCAP, the curriculum, VCAP, the field immersions, VCAP, the internship opportunity, VCAP, the coaching calls, versus VCAP, the light bulb moments that I had, not something Didike was directly saying, but something I heard while I listened to her. VCAP, the friends I made, VCAP, the discipline that I, matured into, VCAP, the visibility gave me, whatever. If you had to choose between VCAP, the organized experience, and VCAP, the self-organized experience, which towers the most for you?
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's really hard because I needed both. It's really hard. I really loved the core curriculum and all of that because I needed to sit with light. I learned a lot by being immersed in an atmosphere of light, so it matters so much to me. So just being there, because when I'm there and I'm listening, I'm also getting other insights that were not part of the original discourse. So it's important. Then the other aspect of, the community, I made some new friends from VCAP that were not in my life originally. They came in on account of, being in that space and getting to work with other people. If I was going to, it's hard. It's hard, but if I have to choose one, maybe I would go for lights, because when I have lights, every other thing comes from there. It's just something that, yes, it's even in my life on a daily basis, how I start my day. Once I have light, I know what to do. I move with precision. So I'm not just wasting time dilly-dallying. I know the relationships to go into. I know the work to do. I know the partnerships to be involved in. I know the ones I don't have to be involved in person, but I can provide resource connections on how to get what they need done. So I'll say light. Yeah.
You're wise. Respect to the Lady Ugochi. This has been so good. Dina, we have not spent hours together in a physical room, one-on-one, holding hands, guiding you through in a personal, in-person sense. But you have followed so closely. You have been impacted so radically. You've also created so much support for our communities. You have interacted with me at the level of being your coach, and then followed as your spiritual leader, and then as your sister, you're married into a family, all of that. Can you talk about what it takes to be plugged in and switched on, even when you are thousands of miles away?
It takes intentionality. It takes a lot of intentionality. VCAP, another word I use for VCAP a lot is it's an incubation, right? It's like pregnancy. And it's the thing that I can most physically understand like that. It's temporary, but it's intentional. So a lot of times, and it's so important to me, we're rushing into the next season. When is summer coming? When's winter? When is fall coming? When you have to be intentional about just where you are. Where are your feet? Someone asked me about how did I know VCAP, it was my season. And I was like, I didn't know it was my season. But when the season was there, when you look outside, when it's hot, it's hot. If it's raining, it's raining. That is the season, right? So being so far away, because even me, I asked that question. I remember I sent Dr. Newton, I was like, I need to talk to like maybe 3 to 5 people. I need to get, I need to hear from other people who've done this thing. I want to make sure this thing is real. Because, an investment is an investment. And one thing I loved about everything that I got back from the VCAP team was that whatever I asked for, they gave. So if I needed to talk to somebody one-on-one, or if I needed to reach out to someone that needed to share new resources, it was. But you have to be intentional. My time was not so structured as people would think. I was fluid with my time, but the little time that I had, because remember, I was pregnant and then I had a baby, I was breastfeeding, I was up in the middle of the night. If I had 1 hour and it was 1 a.m, that 1 hour, I focused in, I zoned in. There was no time I had 2 hours to just sit and do something. When we had our calls, as much as I could be in, but children had to eat too. My mother-in-law has to eat too. So I was doing things, but when I was in, look, everybody got VCAP a little bit in my house because it had to be a loudspeaker. Everybody had to hear, like, sorry, don't worry. These people are too young and too old to come in and pay for the program like that. But everyone had to be in it. That's what I mean by intentionality. I was so in this thing. I was like, I'm putting my feet all the way in. If you know how to swim, you can either tiptoe, you can be like, let me see if the water is cold, or you can just jump in. I just jumped in. And did I feel it? I felt it. Was I frustrated? I was frustrated, but I was intentional about my time. It wasn't structured in the way that I was used to. Okay, this is my block of time. I'm going to do this. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. I had to flex to the reality that I was in that season. And that was finding pockets of time where, yes, I could have watched something, or maybe I could have just laid down, scrolled. No, if I have 30 minutes, I start listening to something from the curriculum. I always had a notebook in my phone, like ready to put things down. If I was watching something, I had my voice notes ready to get, like, when I was going through it, I was intentional about, I'm not just taking in information. This information must work for me. Like, I'm an information hoard. So I don't want to be constipated with all the information. So I was intentional about, as I'm taking it in, somebody must hear what's going on. No? So if it was my small group within VCAP, if it was my coach, shout out to Coach Princess, if it was my husband, my children, everybody, I had to let it out because I didn't want to be tempted to just hoard VCAP. And then at the end of it, feel like, what did it do to me? Like in me, what did it do for me? So you have to be intentional. You can find a reason not to. You can find a reason to be like, oh, it's just assignment, this. And it can be, but you have to be intentional. Gochi said it so well. Like, if you're going to do it, like, just do it. Make sure that you're just doing it. And don't just do the assignments like check marks. Do it. It get why. I think I said that somewhere. It get why. Just do it and be a beginner, but you must be intentional.
This is so good. This is so good. And we're at the end. My final question before we let the amazing panel close out. I think I saw a question from Rachel. She says, what's the actual time commitment in the sense of, are there physical sailing meetings and in a particular time zone since we're all over the world? I'm not certain, if Dr. Newton is able to answer this in the immediate, but I know there's a program calendar and they can drill into even talk about the time zone, where we will maybe show you WAT for coaching calls, but you get to agree your time preferences. Okay, Felicia, I saw that and I'm going to reply you. Okay. But you get to agree your time differences with your coach, so that matters to note that you get to say, this is when we're available and we can walk through that. But my closing question for you, Dr. Newton, is to talk to me about what you are finding to be the most compelling competence that those you saw win with VCAP. What do you see to be a recurring thread of competence that helped them win the most? What mattered the most? What have you observed that has created the kind of results people have been able to get out of the accelerator?
Thank you so much, Ma. And I didn't know that was the question you were asking me. I was going to talk about it before I answered your question. Yeah, as I was listening to Visionary Dean, I'm like, yes, I can see why now. And I was looking through everyone that I could see that were star and showed up well. They had the intention. VCAP was for them. VCAP was meaningful for them. VCAP was, this is my now, and I'm going to make the best of it. Sometimes some people will be like, this program we are having, is it going to count my grade? And if I say, no, okay, they will not show up, or they will just show up. Like, okay, it's not counting to my grade, I'm just going to show up. But Missionary Dina, for example, would be like, I'm here. I'm seeing your video. We are seeing the baby. We are seeing every single thing. And I'm looking for like, yes, the intention of VCAP is for me. I've made investments, financial investment, time investment, and I'm going to make it count. I think that was the first thing that I can pick. The second thing would be people that were not afraid to learn and let themselves be. If you're shy and be like, I don't want to talk, you would get VCAP, but you will not enjoy the best of VCAP because we want to enjoy you. Want to call, I can call you out and say, how was your core curriculum? What have you learned? And you can say something. So I've learned that people that were willing to say, okay, I'm here now. I'm not going to let my personality derail me. I'm going to just soak in everything. If the case says jump, I'm like, how high do you want me to jump? That kind of thing. I saw that it was a common thread of those who let VCAP pass through them, because it's one thing to just go through the motions of like checking the box. Okay, I've worked my curriculum, I've done my assignment, but people that allowed VCAP to pass through them, they commented, they checked in on others, they were in the comment sections. You could see them actively involved. It was mind, matter, soul, body. It wasn't just, somebody asked me to join VCAP. Okay, I'm here now. So you could see the difference in them. And I think the last thing is the staying power, because now it's 24 weeks, so we might not even have that again. But at the middle of 20 weeks, you could see that people were like, oh, come and carry me. I'm no longer doing it again. I'm tired. But the commitment, and Eduguchi will be there. Like, she'll be like, I've set my time. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. So that inner energy of like, I've said this is my goal. I'm going to graduate at the end of VCAP and I'm going to graduate well. That self-motivation, I saw that those who had that, they scaled through and they scaled through successfully. And the people who could leverage power of community, where the dinner is doing something, I can reach out to them and I can just already pitch my work. I saw that it made a difference. I'm not afraid to say, can you introduce me to this person, or can I just even get the person's number? I also saw that as a common thread of those who, went through VCAP and allowed VCAP experience to pass through them. Thank you, ma'am.
That is so good. I hear you well on these things you've highlighted. I want to thank you so specially.
Sorry,
Okay.
the final one is people that speak to their coaches. I think coaching would even appreciate that, because sometimes life gets very tough and they just ghost. Please, I'm just saying it again, don't ghost our coaches. Coach Siwag is already saying yes with like very long
Dr.
legs.
Newton, you are so in the spirit. It's very interesting, because I wanted to say before we go, I wanted us to hear from our head of coaching. She may not be able to turn on a video. She's got my godson with her, but I wanted her to just speak to the matter of what we also find on the side of how to engage coaching, that makes the biggest difference. So we'll get a head of coaching, to apologize, not our head of coaching. I actually mean our deputy project manager in charge of coaching and partnerships. That is our Oga at the top. Our head of coaching would nicely talk about it, but I really want to hear from Amarachi herself. Well, thank you to Ugochi and thank you to Dina for being here with us and for illuminating our spirits with counsel, with light, and with a lot of joy as well. I honor the kindness you've demonstrated today, the sacrifice, and also for being the example. You're here not because you were part of VCAP. You're here because you stood out while in VCAP with us. We wish you a beautiful rest of your day, and I look forward to being in touch with you personally. Thank you. Alrighty, I'll put it in the hands of Dr. Newton, because Judith has a question, and then Dr. Newton will bring Coach Amarachi before we pull this to a close. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, our pro coach. And Judith, I'm trying to look for Judith's question. But while we wait to unmute Coach Amarachi, I can speak to the hours. We say plan to commit a minimum of 10 to 15 hours per week. Time for your core curriculum, time to interact with your coaching, because like we said, our coaches will gently drag you by the jugular. Like if you say on Monday, I'm committing to this, they would ensure that by Friday, that's their duty, like that's their role, that by Friday, everything that you said you wanted to commit to, you have. And if for any reason you haven't, there's good reason. So we ask that you, commit to at least minimum of 10 to 15 hours weekly to go through your core curriculum, to go through your assignments, to go through your own personal task from what you have said, I'm committing to do this particular week. So that's what we're asking you to do. Commit to minimum of 10 to 15 hours per week, and then find the pockets of time within that week. And for our meetings, we have our meetings on Saturdays and Sundays at 8 p.m. WAT. Not every Saturday. When you come into the program, we share the program calendar with you, but that's the timing that most of the events are looking like. I'm Deepa Mamarachi. Okay, you can unmute now. Would like to hear from you. Thank you. Before I go to Judith's question.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Newton. And thank you so much, Ma, for the session tonight and the conversation with the alumni. So, like, very mind-blowing. And Dr. Newton, thank you so much for also highlighting the success criteria for our visionaries. One thing that I want to highlight from the perspective of coaching that I found to, radically shift people is starting where you are, like not waiting until it is perfect to do something. On our own end, we prepare our coaches, we tell coaches that in VCAP, we're not just here to celebrate personal transformation, and we will celebrate personal transformation. But what we are more interested in is you taking the minimum viable like product or service of that vision and doing something about it. So if you have a big vision um to start a community, what is that one thing you can do today that radically shifts you closer to that vision? And so people like who just collaborate with their coaches to do something immediately about their about their vision actually have so many mind-blowing things. And you might find that the first cohort is just maybe 5 people that showed up, but then the next time you reiterate and do it again, then it's more people. So we celebrate that and we encourage you to take action, just do. And we always say that the VCAP is not a done for you service. You have to apply yourself. Like there is so much. In fact, we're here to make sure you succeed. Like your coaches will hold you by the jugular. Like we'll get the resources that you require. But then you have to apply whatever resources we make available, right? And so if you apply what you're learning, you will definitely see a shift. And don't be afraid to ask for resources beyond what is currently available. You might not know what is available until you ask. So you have to literally use the power of the ask, the principle of the ask. Ask your coaches. If there is no answer, your coaches will escalate it to the team and would find answers for you. And then the last thing that I would say is something that you should do if like once you get into VCAP is to leverage the community and collaborate. Dr. Newton already highlighted that. Is you might find that PK always says something. She says that if you're in education, for instance, there are different ways you can deliver a vision in education. You can be education in policy, you can be education in entrepreneurship, you can be education in ministry, you can be education in different ways. So if you see someone in your industry, don't just look at it as like, how can I collaborate? How can I bring maybe the policy version that I am working on and you bring the enterprise? How can we make this thing work in this cohort? So find your tribe as you come into meetings and sessions. If you see someone say, that's a lab, or this is what I'm working on, be picking the people that you're going to send a message or outreach to say, come, let's work together on something. And that changes the game. Invite them to speak on your platform. Speak on platform. Like be open. Don't just say I'm working this journey alone. We did not bring you into VCAP to work the journey alone. We brought you into VCAP to join the force and the community that is the Visionary Compass Accelerator program. So leverage that and plug in. Go with your tribe. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Newton.
I'm just nodding and like, yes, 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 yes to everything that you've been saying. Thank you so much, Coach Amarachi. And I'm going to be answering Judith's question. For group and exclusive, everybody would be paired into a lab. So you would be in a lab of, I think, maximum of 5 people, between 4 to 5 visionaries with your coach. So the exclusive coaching tier would also get to be in that maximum of 4 to 5 with their assigned coach. So nobody is doing anything alone. That's the reason why we are making it into a lab. We don't want you to work alone. At least at the minimum, before you even try to reach out to any other person, you have that lab and your lab members to communicate with. And it's beautiful seeing the progression of lab members coming together to pray, to do meetings, to do many things together, having their own Zoom sessions, even beyond the regular meetings that we have. So we want you to come together because we understand that doing it alone would get tiring. You can even, fall down on the roadside. But when you have that company already, it already gives you that push to see through to the end. I hope that, answers your question. Okay, I can already see that. Please let me know if you have any more questions? Okay, Lady Moshope, the coaching team would look through and they are going to carefully select you with your coach. So you will get the lab allocations, I think, from the 20th. And we are using this moment to ask everyone who has already signed into the program, please fill your visioning sheets. We ask again, I'm asking again, please fill your visioning sheets, because it's the answers that you give us from that visioning sheets that your coach is looking through, and then they are pairing it together, and your coach already has that profile of, this is the person that I'm assigned to. So take your time now before the program starts. If you're already in, we would share that again tonight, that you fill your visioning sheets. When you come in, you get access to fill your visioning sheets. So I hope that answered the question, Visionary Modupe. Please maybe do a hand raise, or if you still have any more question to ask in the next maybe 10 minutes before we go. Okay, does anyone have any other question? What day does VCAP begin? So we are already in the onboarding process, but week 1 officially on the calendar starts on the 20th of July. That's the reason why we are saying that enrollments end on 17th, so that everyone who is coming on board in this last few days get the proper onboarding and enrollments. But official week 1, and that's when we have the allocation of labs and all the final things that we need to do before the program starts. The welcome webinar is on the 25th of July. So please ensure that you put in your final applications, or we see your enrollments before 17th of July. Is VCAP for a person in career? Yes, we have the career service track, but more like a person in NYSC. It depends on how your career is unfolding, and if you think that VCAP is the right place for you right now. But we have a career pathway, and even with our new, I think, yes, now we have a career execution blueprint that we are bringing into this particular cohort. But if you're just starting NYSC or you're in NYSC, I think we would maybe ask you to go into ELC. ELC will give you that first level into your career. Yes. Okay, would you say it's for someone in ministry or trying to elevate their next level of ministry? Lady Rahel, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. We can maybe ask you to unmute and maybe ask your question. I'm not sure I understand the question at the moment. Let me ask you to unmute. Okay, can somebody ask Lady Rachel to unmute? I can't ask her to unmute for some reason. Or if you could type it again, and then I can properly answer that. We would work towards that, Lady Rahel. Somebody was asking how you get moved into your group, into your labs. Through the coaching team is responsible for that, and they get to assign you into your lab. So your lab would be, for example, group lab 1, and then you have your coach with you in that lab. The coaching team is responsible for that and would assign you properly to your labs. Oh, okay. So I'm trying to read it. For example, let's say somebody serves in the church, in the women's ministry, but wants to define a path or program or initiative to help better serve women in the ministry with their livelihood. Yes, that's a vision that you have, and VCAP will help you clarify and also build and launch it into a proper ministry structure based on maybe what you're seeing from the Clarify Lab. One thing we must also, say is people come in with a vision and you're like, this is what I want to, this is what I see. And then you come into the Clarify blueprint. I'm like, something else is calling my name. It's completely fine. Don't be panicked. Don't think that it's not fixed, it's not set in stone. We are thinking that the hope is that you come in and you get all the information you need to execute your next level vision. Okay, Lady Oluwat's question, I think I already answered that. We would recommend between minimum of 10 to 15 hours per week for everything, your time, your personal time, your core curriculum. It's a minimum of 10 to 15 hours weekly. Okay. Lady Rahel, does that answer your question? Let me know if it does answer your question, please. Okay, thank you. I think we're good to go. Ma, do you want to give the last words to them, or we'll just say bye and see you in the court?
Just say you want to see my face and hear my voice. My last words will definitely be to bless you. Let me tell you what it is. VCAP is not a program. VCAP is just an opportunity to create one more room where vision can become obedience. That's it. And why does that matter? We don't obey because we're afraid. We obey because we are blessed. You know, obedience gives expression to the blessing. You see, anyone who is already authorized must step into their assignment, because in their assignment is their announcement and their abundance. Do you understand the flow? So VCAP is not it's not, a transaction. Get into the program. We're not selling anything to you, to be honest. And yeah, this is just one more room because it's not the only room. It may not even be your room, but if it's your room, if your heart burns, the fire is the sign. It's just one more room to make it possible for you to say yes to vision, because the contemporary language of obedience is execution. That's it. So if you're a person who carries a desire to say yes to the calling on your life, then VCAP is a room that has been carefully curated. It's no fluff, distraction-free, evidence-backed, spirit-inspired, but highly strategic. I think in VCAP, you get to meet me more. You get to meet the majesty of my mind and the supremacy of our systems. If you ever loved me in VCAP, you know me. You see, it's powerful. So if it's your time, then it's your time. Come in and come say yes to your vision. And when you say yes to your vision says yes to you. You see, that's where I find the most beautiful things happening. When you say yes to your vision says yes back to you. It starts to open doors. You get to build community. You connect with great people. It just changes your life. Vision changes your life. Vision has changed my life. I can't think about my life outside the context of who I have become because I said yes. And I love who I'm becoming because I'm saying yes. So I bless you from my heart that beyond VCAP, whether you're in or not, that you would always find rooms where you're seen, where you're loved, where you're well received, and where you are resourced, for your remarkable results. That the gap between what you say about yourself and what you manifest in time will start to close, and you will look more and more the glorious essence that you carry by destiny, design, and original order. I pray for resources to find you, for doors to open, for people to negotiate an advantage for you behind closed doors, and for your name to be called in quarters that matter. I pray that your heart will have peace, that your agitations will heal, and where there are contentions against what rightfully belongs to you, there'll be an overturning that restores to you what is yours. I pray you to have peace. That peace will be like a government that is in charge of your seasons, and you would not lose that sense of clarity and precision. And that if you are in a place where you can't see the full picture, because the full picture is never given, you would have enough to make every important decision that matters. The most significant steps that lead you into the next phase of your life success will not be hidden from you. And you'd enjoy where you are on the way to where you're going. And finally, I really have been praying that those who belong to our global communities will be plugged in and switched on. It may be through VCAP, it may be through Immerse or Ideation Hub or Firebrand or Kingdom Leaders Global Alliance or Anyike Regal. But one way or the other, I pray that our connections will be stronger and you would really find your place and be at home at home. I want you to be at home with us because this is home. Thank you so much for sharing moments with us today. And I look forward to seeing you where you have to be next by the grace of God. Congratulations and have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Please let's just say thank you to DDK and thank her for everything. And ma, on behalf of the team, we are saying thank you. We know how demanding your week has been, and you're showing up for us today. Well, just take it. I'm doing public service announcement again. Well, thank you so much for doing this for us. And I'm hoping that it resonates with everyone. I know that it resonates, and like DDK said, is it aligned? Is it important? Is it now? If it answers all those three questions, then we see you in the Catalyst cohort. Thank you so much for having us tonight. And on behalf of the entire Visionary Compass team, we say a big thank you to you, and we look forward to actually the 24 weeks of wonder, of power, of grace, of love, of community, of every single thing that you desire. And see you in the Catalyst cohort. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful night. The replay we think about, we get to replay to you, don't worry.
Hi everyone, my name's Rachel Eniayo Kagatuzi, and I was part of VCAP class 2025 Powerhouse cohort. Before I joined VCAP, I felt like I needed a bit more clarity as to the best way to move my vision forward. But what I actually really needed was the language to build and to really understand the person that I was, that was required to build the vision that I was building. So really what I even took out of it was the woman that I really became and I'm becoming. The execution blueprint was great because it really gave me the system to think. It really gave like step-by-steps as to, okay, think about this, think about that. It really even then broadened my understanding of what research was required for the different aspects of the vision that I was building. So the execution blueprint definitely gave me the structures and the processes that I needed for the vision that I was building. I think one moment for me would be the accountability calls. I think there were particular calls whereby it felt like I cannot carry on. There's just too much pressure. But then coming into those calls and hearing Coach and even hearing the other visionaries and how we were able to just really encourage each other really was, I feel like, apart from the core curriculum and everything, but really having those accountability calls really shaped moving forward, because it felt like I'm not the only one in this race. The other people feeling the pinch as well. And so, yeah, that really marked me throughout my whole journey. Yeah. My leadership habit, I feel like the one that I learned the most was discipline and consistency. Oh my days, consistency. Even when I don't want to do what needs to be done, I have to remember that there are people coming after me. So I have to be consistent because there's people watching me as well. And there are even people that I don't even know that are watching me, that are being inspired by the things that I'm doing. So I had to show up consistently, irrespective of the pinch that I was feeling going through the journey.
Hello, my name is Christina Shoname, and I'm so excited. It's graduation day, finally, 40 weeks after. And VCAP, the Visionary Campus Accelerator Program, has been everything and more that it promised to be. I remember this exact time last year, I was still thinking about it. Can I, would I, should I? And now I can look back and I'm like, I was at the right place at the right time. Our mentors, our coaches, the intentionality, the intensity, right? And the execution. I mean, VCAP taught me that execution is about obedience, not just about outcomes. And it didn't only teach me that, it gave me the tools to be able to execute well. And of course, blessed me with a community of powerhouses, just like is the name of our cohort. I'm so excited, I'm so grateful to dedicate to our coaches, to the community, to the Powerhouse cohort. Thank you, everyone. And today, like we've been told, we are celebrating and we'll keep celebrating. And of course, cheers to bigger and better things on our journey. God bless you.
Hi everyone, my name is Kehinde Debola, and I'm from the US, Texas to be precise, and I attended the Visionary Compass Accelerator program. Shout out to the Powerhouse cohort. So before I joined VCAP, I had ideas. I had different ideas that I wanted to execute, but I wasn't clear on what direction to take. I knew I had God in mind, but I wasn't sure what direction to flow and which one was the right path to take. I think like many other people, we stumbled with decision paralysis. But for me, what ended up standing out was once I joined VCAP, going through the first trimester of Clarify, I think that was the huge foundation for me. What ended up happening during that process was it took me a step back and I had to clarify my vision. It made me go back and also try to understand, what exactly is my purpose on this earth, and also try to just strengthen and highlight one of my strengths are taking of course the Clifton Strengths Finder. That was really helpful, and I think it was a pivotal point for me in that process where I was able to utilize that and from there articulate what my strengths are. So today, by the grace of God, with graduation, I'm able to articulate that I am a bridge builder, not just in project management, but also I love connecting people. I love connecting teams to be able to execute flawlessly. So yes, that summarizes what I do. So what did not exist before VCAP was the lack of consistency and the self-doubt. Oh my goodness. Every time. So I would always self-sabotage. I was always overthinking what I should do, but VCAP has taught me the structure and the systems that I needed to execute with consistency. 40 weeks was enough drilling, and I would like to say DDK definitely shifted my wig. Prior to VCAP, I told her that, but I'm going to say it here officially. And I think during that process for me, it helped me just understand how I should execute consistently, sometimes early mornings. But because the vision was so dear to my heart, I didn't care about the time of the day. It was something that I needed to do. Luckily, I was paired with the most amazing coach, Lab 7, Coach Modupe. She was amazing. Her spirit was very warm, and I'm an open type of person that likes to connect with people. So it wasn't uncomfortable for me. It was more of a plus, and I was able to use that and speak with her openly. And she helped me just execute things, restructure my life design, which was fantastic. And I needed that to be able to move forward with my process. So I think VCAP is for everyone. I think everyone needs it. Not just the women, because I think that's what we're seeing now, but I think it's actually men that do need it as well too. So it's every young leader, anyone that is aspiring to be something greater, even within the C-suites as well, within executives. I think it's something that is very essential for everyone that wants to accelerate and move up in their life. So I would say, yes, everyone needs it. Even if you're not sure, because I think that was the stage where I was before I started, it made me clarify. So that self-doubt changed into something that was very, very pivotal.